You know, we've always looked up at the night sky and wondered about Mars, right? Our little red neighbor. But getting there? Well, that's a whole other story. This is how we're exploring a world millions of miles away with some of the most incredible off-roading robots ever built.
Just try to wrap your head around that number. On average, that's the distance between us and Mars. 140 million miles of cold, empty space. You can't just send someone over to take a quick look, and you definitely can't fly a drone with a joystick from that far away. It's a massive, massive challenge.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do you possibly build a machine that's tough enough to survive that crazy long journey, land on a whole other planet, and then drive around all by itself? Well, the answer is one of the greatest engineering adventures in human history, the Mars rovers. Before we even start talking about driving on Mars, we have to understand exactly what we're up against. And let me tell you, Mars is not a friendly place. It's an extreme environment that will push any machine to its absolute limit. Okay, check this out. The atmosphere is so incredibly thin that trying to land a spacecraft is like trying to stop a speeding bullet with a tiny parachute. There's no magnetic field, which means the surface gets blasted with solar radiation that can totally fry electronics. You've got massive dust storms that can cover the entire planet, blocking out the sun for weeks. And the temperature swings are wild, from a comfy 70 degrees Fahrenheit down to minus 100. Oh, and even the dust, it's like superfine, sharp sand that gets into everything and just grinds down moving parts. So the very first step wasn't about driving. It was just about surviving the landing. Way back in the 1970s, the Viking landers actually made it to the surface and sent back the first amazing pictures from the ground. They proved it was possible to get there, but they were stuck in one spot. To really explore, we needed to get mobile.
And that brings us to the real pioneers, the very first robotic explorers that dared to roll their wheels on Martian soil. This is where the real off-roading adventure begins.
So let's do a quick roll call of our robotic superstars. After the Viking landers showed us we could stick the landing in '76, Sojourner took the very first spin in '97. Then came the marathon runners Spirit and Opportunity in 2004. In 2012, the massive mobile science lab Curiosity arrived. And most recently, in 2021, Perseverance landed with a game-changing sidekick.
Let's start with the absolute trailblazer, Sojourner. This little robot made history. I mean, this was the very first machine to drive on the surface of another planet. Every single rover that came after owes a huge debt to this tiny scout. And get this, Sojourner was tiny. We're talking about the size of a microwave oven, weighing only 25 pounds. To get it to the surface, the engineers came up with this wild idea. They wrapped the lander in a cocoon of giant airbags and just dropped it. It literally bounced across the surface of Mars until it came to a stop. It sounds crazy, but it worked perfectly.
So, how did this little rover actually study Mars? Well, one of its most important tools was something called a spectrometer. Just think of it like a super high-tech scanner that can get a chemical fingerprint from a rock. It shines light on it and then analyzes the unique way that light bounces back, which tells scientists exactly what the rock is made of.
After Sojourner proved that driving on Mars was possible, NASA decided to level up, big time. They decided to send not one, but two much larger, more capable rovers to really go the distance and hunt for the biggest scientific prize on Mars, signs of ancient water.
And this was a really smart strategy. By landing two identical rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, on completely opposite sides of Mars, they could explore two totally different environments at the same time. It basically doubled their chances of making a huge discovery.
And what a legacy they left. These golf cart-sized rovers were only designed to last for about 90 days. But Spirit kept going for 6 years. And Opportunity, get this, it explored for nearly 15 years. They found the first absolute proof that Mars once had liquid water. And they survived planet-wide dust storms that totally buried their solar panels. Opportunity even set the off-world driving record, traveling over 28 miles. That's a full marathon on another planet. That incredible journey let it travel from crater to crater, revealing layer after layer of Martian history.
The amazing success of the twin rovers really paved the way for the next generation, the heavyweights. And these aren't just explorers, they are full-blown, nuclear-powered mobile science laboratories.
So, in 2012, NASA landed Curiosity. And this thing is a beast. It's the size of a small SUV and weighs almost a ton. It was so big and heavy that the old airbag landing system was completely out of the question. Nope. They needed a totally new and honestly kind of crazy-sounding way to get it on the ground safely.
And this was it, the Sky Crane. Seriously, picture a rocket-powered jetpack hovering about 60 feet above the Martian surface. It then slowly lowers the 1-ton rover down on 3 long cables. The second the rover's wheels touch down, the cables are cut, and the jetpack flies off to crash a safe distance away. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But it worked flawlessly.
And that brings us to today's mission. In 2021, Perseverance landed, and it is the most sophisticated robot we have ever sent to another world. But it didn't come alone. Tucked right under its belly was a high-tech partner that would make history all on its own. This new generation is just packed with incredible tech. Perseverance has 23 different cameras and can actually make breathable oxygen right out of the thin Martian air. Its main job is to drill and store rock core samples that a future mission is going to pick up and bring back home to Earth. And its sidekick, the Ingenuity helicopter, has blades that spin incredibly fast, over 2,400 times a minute, just to generate enough lift to fly in Mars's thin atmosphere, acting as an awesome aerial scout for the rover.
Okay, so we've met the whole family of rovers, but how do they actually survive and do their jobs day in and day out on such a dangerous planet? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the core tech that makes all of this possible.
Power is everything on Mars. The early rovers all use solar panels. They're simple and light, but they have one huge weakness: dust. When those big storms kick up and cover the panels, the rovers lose power. That's exactly why the bigger, more modern rovers, Curiosity and Perseverance, use a nuclear power source. It lets them work 24/7, even in the middle of a dust storm or during the long, dark Martian winter. That nuclear power source has a really long technical name, a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, or RTG for short. But it's not a reactor. The easiest way to think of it is as a nuclear battery. It uses the natural heat that's given off as plutonium slowly decays to generate a constant, reliable flow of electricity for years and years.
And what about driving? Well, you can't just use a joystick like you're playing a video game. The radio signal can take up to 20 minutes to get from Earth to Mars. So if you saw a giant cliff ahead, it would be way too late to hit the brakes. Instead, engineers send a set of commands for the day, and the rover drives itself, using its cameras to build 3D maps of the terrain so it can navigate around rocks and sand traps all on its own.
You see, everything these rovers have discovered, from finding the signs of ancient water to actually testing out oxygen production, it's all been paving the way for the next giant leap in exploration, sending humans to the Red Planet.
These incredible machines are our scouts, our geologists, our pioneers on a distant world. They've shown us a Mars that was once warmer and wetter, a world that might have even supported life. They're the first chapter in our exploration of Mars. The next chapter? Well, that's going to be written by humans. And that leaves us with one final thought. What do you think will be the first big discovery we make when people finally follow in their robotic tracks?